Hi, Sam. How are you?
Hi, Mariana. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited to be here again today.
Yeah. So, welcome to Tea with Noli IP. Today, we're talking about corporations.
Very nice. And we're going to share a presentation that Sam has put together on the corporate topic. I'm really excited to share with everyone. Keep calm and call your lawyer about corporations. So as some of you know, Sam has been helping our firm with all the digital marketing and she's doing a fantastic job. I'm very excited that she has started this series, Be with Noli IP. And today we're going to talk about corporations. Is that right, Sam?
Yep.
So I hear you have some questions for me.
Yeah, my first question is, should I form an LLC or a partnership instead of a corporation?
Well, let me tell you that LLC stands for Limited Liability Company. And a corporation, it can be classified as an S-Corp or a C-Corp. It really depends on a lot of the details of the entity that you're going to be operating under. So there is not like an answer that it's tailored towards everybody. It's going to depend on what type of business you're doing, what type of revenue you're generating. The good thing about creating a corporation, and that's why a lot of investors prefer to have a corporation versus a limited liability company, is that the corporations issue shares and the shares are easily transferable. So sometimes that can be attractive for investors.
Okay.
It is very important to form an entity separate from the individuals that form part of the LLC or the C Corp, because that way you can limit the liability, the personal liability that the members of the LLC or the shareholders have to respond or to answer for the corporation's actions. So you can limit liability, and there is also some tax advantages from it for incorporating. So that's why we always suggest that instead of operating with your partners in a general partnership, you do incorporate.
Okay. So, what do I need to do to incorporate a business?
To incorporate, you have to file the incorporation papers with the Secretary of State of the state where you're operating. Like we will see, there are some states that are more business friendly, corporate friendly, but you will file the articles of incorporation or incorporation papers, and the Secretary of State will send you a certificate confirming that your entity has been formed.
All right. So, I heard that I should incorporate in Delaware. Is that a good idea?
And that's what I was referring to because, for example, Delaware is a state that it's been traditionally recognized to be one of these states that it's corporate friendly and welcomes businesses because it has a very robust body of law, corporate laws. But there are other states that can be beneficial for corporations and businesses, or can be attractive, I should say. For example, Wyoming or Nevada. You do want to incorporate in the state where you're doing business because that is where you're actually located. If you incorporate in a separate state, you may end up having to incorporate in the state where you're operating as a foreign entity, and that will mean that you are paying taxes at the state level in two different states. And also you could end up defending a lawsuit if you happen to be involved in a lawsuit in the state that you're not even operating. So there is not a yes or no answer. It just depends on your business and where you're operating.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, can I form a one-person corporation?
Yes, you can have one shareholder or you can have several shareholders.
Okay. So, what is an S corporation and how do I set one up?
Actually, Noli IP is an S corporation. And the big difference is the Internal Revenue Services classifies the corporations as an S Corp or a C Corp for tax purposes. If you want to be an S Corp, you need to file a document that it's called Form 2553 with the IRS. If you don't do that, the IRS will treat your corporation as a C Corp. And I guess the advantage of being an S Corp or elect to be taxed as an S Corp is because if you are a C Corp, the C Corps are taxed, income tax on the profits of the business. And then the shareholders are also taxed on their personal tax returns. But if you are an S Corp, you're only taxed one time. You're not taxed at the corporate level, but the shareholders are taxed on the profit and loss of the business on their personal tax returns.
Okay. So what is a professional corporation?
A professional corporation is Noli IP Solutions PC. PC, it stands for Professional Corporation. And in certain jurisdictions, doctors, lawyers, architects, accountants, professionals can form a professional corporation. I guess the limitation in these types of corporations is who can be a shareholder. A shareholder of, for example, a law firm, professional corporation can only be lawyers. Some jurisdictions require that the shareholders to become shareholders get a permission from the professional licensing board of that particular profession.
What is a registered agent?
A registered agent is required in every corporation, and it's also called or referred to as the statutory agent. It's a person that is designated to receive documents on behalf of the corporation. So for example, if the corporation were to be sued, or if the corporation needed to be subpoenaed for a hearing, for a testimony, then serving that person, it equals serving the corporation. And it can be anybody that is older than 18 years old, and it could also be one of the officers of the corporation or directors. It's very important to know that there are also professional corporations that offer these services. So you can get a registered agent service for a fee.
Okay. Do I need bylaws for my corporation?
A lot of the corporations require to have bylaws, and bylaws are internal documents that help the corporations because they laid out the procedures of how things should work and play out. For example, if there is conflict that arises. There are a lot of, these documents are not filed with the state secretary, the Secretary of State, but it is very important to have them. You typically will keep them with the corporate records, and they will indicate how many officers, how many directors, where are the shareholder meetings, and how to sell the shares, and anything that relates to the operation of the entity.
All right. What does it cost to form a corporation?
Well, of course, it depends. You have a filing fee that the state sets up, and that's available on the website, and that's the official filing fee. Here at Noli IP, we offer a startup package for $1,500 for the California corporations, and for the out-of-state corporations, $2,000. The good thing about this package is that it not only includes the filing and preparation of the original documents with the Secretary of State, but it also includes the drafting of the documents that will lay out the operations of your corporation, as well as a 1-hour consultation with a corporate attorney, the first year of service of process, if you needed a registered agent, like we were talking about, as well as the first year filing of the statement of information that needs to be filed every year after you incorporate it. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Very good.
So should I include the word Inc. in my corporation name?
You know, it is important to include the incorporated or corporation or corporated or company next to the corporate name. The reason is that you're letting individuals know that they're dealing with a corporation and they're not dealing with an individual. So it is required that you do include it when you refer to the company name.
That makes sense. All right, thank you for answering all my questions and talking with me on Tea with Noli IP today.
Yeah, until next time, Sam. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.